Hi, my name is Debbie Velasco. I chose three popular legends of Greece. Theirs are recognized throughout history, throughout the world. When I was in school, they used to teach me their history, the characters, and the adventures they live throughout in Greek mythology. The first is Ulysses and the mermaids. Mermaids were beings that live in the sea near Sicily. Each ship was that of the body of bird with a woman's face. A dog leather in would be taken as beings with a fierce tail. One of its characteristics was its voice. It had an immense sweetness and musicality. Thanks to their gift, they attracted the sailors' ships. They were so delighted with the music that they used of the boat to hear better, then ended up drowning in the sea. However, there was someone who could bear the mermaids. He is Ulysses, who, on his return home after the Trojan War, had the misfortune to break through the domain of these beings. Mermaids had an obligation, and that was that if any man could hear him but was not attracted to them he must die. He ordered everyone in the boat to cover their ears and tie him to the ship's mast with his ears uncovered, and bid them not to raise him. For these reasons, mermaids had today. The second is the Pegasus legend. Pegasus was the only winged horse that exists on the face of the earth. It was smooth as velvet and white as sea form. He lived free and will, grazing on green bushes, and no mortal had tamed him. He was born from the encounter between Poseidon and Medusa. One day, a warrior named Bellerophonte, who had never been defeated on the battlefield, wanted to tame him to keep the horse, but the horse would not let him get close. Bellerophonte wanted it so much that the goddess Athena had a gift in exchange for all the battles she had won. She gave him gold barrels so he could clip out of the Pegasus' back. Seeing them, the two of them experienced many adventures and won many fights together. However, Bellerophonte is ego grew little belittled. His horse, unique in the world, and his invincibility on the battlefield made him feel very proud. One day he wanted to go to the king of the gods to ask him for immortality, but instead beat Pegasus, causing Bellerophonte to fall to earth and seriously injure himself, and Pegasus was left with Zeus and his lightning bolts on stormy nights. Finally, the legend of the Trojan Wars. A long, long time ago, the first war happened, which was the Trojan War. Greeks and Trojans fought be Helena, the most beautiful woman in the world. Helena was Greek, but a Trojan prince fell in love with her and took her to Troy. Some say that the Trojan prince kidnapped her, while others claim that it was Helena who wanted to go to Troy. All their ships that were over 1,000 and sailed to Troy, thinking that they could enter in the city in few days and retrieve Helena. But none of that because that Trojans were brave warriors and did not facilitate the Greeks. Thus they fought for the long years. If the Greeks managed to enter the city, then they won the war and Helena returned home. But if they were not successful, Helena stayed in Troy. In the end, Ulysses found the idea of Edirne with a wooden horse and soldiers inside, and this is how the Greeks won the Trojan War.